I would like to walk you through rigging and setting a Carrier 48MA 50ME multi-zone. This can also apply to a lot of other equipment that you'll maybe rig and set as far as multi-zones go, but the video is really specific to the Carriers in some sense. First thing you're gonna want to do is find the curb gasket, look around the base of the unit and find the label for the curb gasket, and get that pulled out. Open the door and get that pulled out. One of the second things is probably, walk around the units, give them a good look, check for shipping damage. We do our best. We take pictures before the units leave. We know what they look like when they left here. If you see something that looks like damage, be sure to take a picture of it, note it, the bill of lading, and be sure to report it back to us. Next thing you're going to want to do is look at the zone cover. You're going to want to pull a lot of these screws out and just have minimal screws left so you can pull that cover off really quick once the unit gets up to the roof. Next thing you'll do is just kind of look around the units, and you're going to want to find the labels. Look at the labels along the base of the unit. We try to note everything, where the condensate drain is, the packing and shipping label. So let's cut that packing list open. You'll be able to get in there and see what's on the bill of lading. A lot of times there's going to be a lot of goodies and care packages in the control panel of the unit. We got our thermostats or our space sensors. We got our vent cap, our curb gasket in this case, condensate trap there for you. A lot of the ship loose parts are in the control panel. Also maybe the louvers will be in some of the other sections. So next thing we'll talk about, let's talk about the rigging setup. So we really request that you use spreader bars. In the picture here, they've got spreader bars for the spreader bars. I'm not sure exactly what you call this setup, but we really want the spreader bars on the width of the unit or across the width of the unit. So this crew here is started lifting up the Carrier 48MA 50ME multi-zone, and just right away, let's stop right away because you're fixing to have a bad day. And the Carriers have in there, a lot of their literature, they talked about screwing the ductwork, screwing the zone manifold off to the bottom of the unit. And what happens a lot of times on these Carriers is you'll end up getting the unit to break loose, and you'll pull that duct drop through the roof, and you'll pull it through the roof and it all comes apart. It usually tears at the flex connector at the bottom of the drop, and this is what we want to try to avoid, and why we're kind of sharing the video with you. Let's see, actually you can see right here, so this crew here, they recognize that the zone drops are actually screwed off to the bottom of the unit. The guy's not exactly sure what to do. He's going to try to open the zone end or the cover here on the end of the unit. And on these Carriers, you can't see the zone, the duct drops at the end of the unit. They're actually, I think the gas burners are directly over the openings. You can't really see them, so there's no access here at the end of the unit. So what you can do, the next crew here, you'll see, they kind of went about it a good way, a way that we've kind of seen. I've seen in the field a time or two and recommend. These guys have kind of eased it up on one end, take the straps loose on all four corners, and they're just going to concentrate on the zone end. And they're going to ease this unit up on the zone end. So what you're going to do is you block it up. Ideally, you may even want to do this less than 4x4. Minimal lift on this, just enough to visually inspect, maybe get a crowbar, or what I thought would be the ideal piece of equipment for this would be what I called a rock bar growing up, or a tamping stick or a rock bar. It's actually got a chiseled end on it. It's got some heft to it. It would be a good tool to actually get in there. You can shear away the ductwork, shear away the heads on the screws maybe, and get that ductwork popped loose and popped away from the zone unit and disconnected from the unit. That way you can lift it away without tearing up the zone head. So you're finally able to get this cut loose and pulled away. The next thing you're going to see usually is you're going to see your manifold or your duct drop kind of list one way or another. It's going to droop to one side or another. One corner of it's maybe going to stick up above the curb perimeter. So what you're going to want to do is, you know, be a Boy Scout in this case, and you're going to want to bring some angles with you. Bring a couple angles. And here's just kind of a diagram that we have. This is ideally what you want to have, is you get everything level to the top of the curb. You get your angles broke on the top of the duct connection. We're going to break a 3/4 inch flange to the right. Your zone head is actually going to make a compression fit. You can also use these S-cleats or a bar cleat or a standing drive. I've heard them call a couple of different things, but this would make a good way of actually connecting these zone connections. And this is what you want to see. This guy, whoever done this is my new best friend. Gosh, he's done a good job on getting everything level to the top of the curb. It looks nice and clean. The top of the curb is clean, ready for the gasket. Now we're getting the guy. He's putting the gasket on. You're going to want to maybe put, if you have enough gasket material, put 2 layers around the zone connections, and then you're going to want to put 1 layer around the perimeter of the curb. Be sure you always get the new gasket on there. Get the old stuff off, clean it off good, and get it on and get it prepared just like what you're seeing here in the picture. And so what we're going to do, we're going to bring the new unit in. We're going to fly it into place. The guy running the crane's done a good job. And here's where you're taking those screws loose on your zone panel. This is where it's going to pay off at, right? So we got those screws loose, and we're getting these panels off because we want to visually inspect and get this lined up. A lot of the problems we see with multi-zones or airflow problems are because maybe somebody forgot this step, didn't take the zone covers off, didn't visually inspect that the zone's actually lined up. On occasion, they won't. Or maybe they're offset just a little bit, and you're getting a little bit of blow-by on one zone over to the other, and can cause some problems. We get the zone covers off here. You're able to inspect. You're able to see how everything lines up. And we'll just go ahead and drop this unit on down and get it sitting on the curb. And so what you'll see here in the last picture is what we really like to see. Everything's lined up good. We've made a good compression fit. Everything's looking good, and you're ready to go. We've measured the utilities. We've matched everything up. Your zone connections to match. Your electrical connections should match up. Your gas connections should be really close to where the old unit was. You know, when you guys look good rigging this equipment and getting it up and running and started and on the roof in a short time, we look good too. So it's just teamwork here. We want everybody to be successful in this and have a good day and go home and grill instead of replacing and working on a busted zone drop or duct drop there. So like and subscribe if you liked what you see, and by all means, it's your job site, it's your rig, and you're the boss, and you're just throwing out some suggestions here to help you out, and maybe something here will help you. By all means, if you have some comments on this, be sure to share them. I'm not the end-all, be-all, know-all of rigging, and your comments could surely help somebody else along the way. Thanks.